So this OF model crashes out and gets revenge on a guy she's hated since back in high school. Now the woman calls herself Selena Savage, and Selena is 27 when this story starts, living in Virginia, and Selena's done a lot. She was in the Coast Guard for a while. She's also making some money as an OF model. So you know, good for her. But girl unfortunately has a very serious problem. All the way back in high school, one of her classmates allegedly S-ed her. And this was obviously very traumatic for her. But for her own personal reasons, she decided not to report it, and instead just try and move on with her life. However, as she's finding out the hard way, she can't move on with her life. And around 10 years pass, and she's still dealing with the trauma, but one day in 2017, she's finally had enough. She works up the nerve to go to police and report the guy who she says attacked her all those years ago. That guy is this guy, Matthew. And Matthew is around 27 now, and he no longer lives in Virginia. He actually lives in Ohio. And so Selena goes to the police in Virginia, and she tells them what happened back in high school. But unfortunately for her, police tell her that there isn't currently enough evidence to file any charges against him. And of course, Selena is devastated by this news. I mean, after all these years, she finally got the courage to report the guy and nothing can be done. And so poor Selena does exactly what she did before. She tries to just move on with her life. I actually think this is when she starts her OF account. But then in 2021, she's around 31 years old now. Something crazy happens. One day she's messing around on Facebook, and Facebook suggests a friend to her, like people you may know or whatever. And the friend they suggest is Matthew. And she gets super upset by this. I mean, it's been 15 years at this point. Is this guy ever going to go away? And that is when Selena Savage realizes that she can't take it anymore. She decides she needs to take this matter into her own hands and get revenge on Matthew herself. And so she accepts Facebook's request to become his friend. Once they're friends, she starts messaging back and forth with him, and now they're chatting and they hit it off. And at some point, she offers to drive 300 miles to Ohio to meet up with him so that they can spend the night together. And Matthew, he likes this idea because there's an implication that they're gonna hook up. And so they agree to these plans, and Selena rents an Airbnb near where he lives. Then she borrows her husband's car because, you know, she's married and has kids. But she borrows her husband's car, and she drives from Virginia all the way over to Ohio. And there, Matthew, he's out drinking with his coworkers. And Selena picks him up from the bar, and his friends see him leave with her, and the two of them end up staying the night in the Airbnb. And they hook up. Or whatever they do. The next day they go to a nearby national park to go hiking. And there's like a haunted cemetery there that they're also going to check out. So they're there at this park, and they're hiking around, and once they get to a secluded spot, Matthew's back is turned, and Selena pulls out a pistol that she brought with her, and she points it at the back of his head, and blam! She unalives him. Then, Selena leaves and she drives back to Virginia. A few days later, a couple of hikers come along and discover Matthew's body. So of course, police in Ohio, they're investigating all this. And they end up talking to his coworkers, who immediately tell them about the woman that they saw him leave with. And so police look into this car his friends saw him leave in, and they're eventually able to link it to the owner, Selena's husband. And so now police finally have a lead, and they're investigating. But here's where the story really goes off the rails. Matthew's mom is this woman, who we'll just call Matthew's mom. Matthew's mom is devastated by the loss of her son. Understandably so. I mean, this is the reaction you would expect from a mom. Now, I assume she either doesn't know about the essay allegations from back when Matthew was in high school, or she just doesn't believe them. Either way, she isn't dealing well with any of this. And as time goes on, the police are still investigating his murder. And at this point, the FBI has even gotten involved. However, they still haven't made any arrests. And so Matthew's mom knows her son's killer is still out there doing who knows what, and they're still not in jail where they should be. And this is where Matthew's mom decides to get involved in all this herself, and she starts doing her own investigation. And so her investigation slowly starts consuming all her time. Like she's obsessed with it. She's chasing every lead and looking at every piece of evidence she can find over and over again, until solving this crime becomes her entire life. Here's the thing though, she doesn't believe it's Selena. I don't even know if she knows if Selena exists. Matthew's mom actually thinks the killer is some other woman. A woman who in reality isn't connected to Matthew at all. No idea why she thinks it's her, but we'll just call her random woman. Now, at this point, Matthew's mom could take this information she has to police and let them know what she found. But that's not what she does. Instead, she decides she's going to take care of random woman herself. She's going to murder her. And so Matthew's mom buys a brown vest and a brown baseball hat, and she puts them on so that she looks like a UPS driver. Then she recruits her husband to get involved so that he can drive her to this woman's home. And so they get in the car and they drive to the woman's home in Washington, D.C. Then they get there and Matthew's mom gets out, and she goes up to the door and she's carrying a box like she's a UPS driver delivering a package. Except the box actually has a loaded pistol in it. And so Matthew's mom rings the buzzer and the random woman comes to the door and she opens it and Matthew's mom pulls out that pistol and she points it at her and blam blam, she shoots her twice in the stomach. Then she runs back to her car and jumps inside and she and her husband speed away. Now, pretty quickly, police get called and they come out to investigate. And so some officers in the area are out patrolling, looking for whoever just shot that random woman on her porch. And that is when they spot Matthew's mom's car, which I assume someone gave them a description of. And so they pull the car over and Matthew's mom absolutely panics. She knows she's busted and that there's no way out of this. And so she gets that pistol she brought. And blam, she unalives herself right there in the car next to her husband. And from there, police arrest Matthew's mom's husband. Here's his mugshot. And about a month later, the FBI concludes their investigation into Matthew's murder. And so, bam, they arrest Selena Savage. Here's her mugshot. Which means if Matthew's mom had just waited a month longer, she would have seen them ultimately catch the killer. Anyway, Matthew's mom's husband, Matthew's father, takes a plea deal, and he's sentenced to 3.5 years in prison. While Selena Savage pleads guilty to murdering Matthew, and she has not actually been sentenced yet. While the random woman who was shot in Washington, D.C., she actually survives. So good for her.